This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the CEO of Critical Elements Lithium, Mr. John Sebastian Lavallee, and the chairman of Critical Elements Lithium, Mr. Eric Zaunsherb. Eric, Jean Sebastian, how are you today?
Oh, feeling pretty good. Excellent.
How are you?
I am well. Thank you both for asking. It's great to have the both of you on. Congratulations are in order. Obviously, a big milestone was achieved earlier this week. I would love for you to go ahead and explain what that milestone was, and then let's talk about all the hard work that led up to it, and then frankly, the hard work that remains following the next shoe, which we all anticipate to drop soon, right?
Yes. So the decision from the Minister of Environment and Climate Change of Canada is one of the, let's say, the big authorization you need in order to be able to build a mine. So that's one of the most important authorization needs for the project. And in parallel to that, there's a process that we've been involved also since 2017 with the provincial authorities. So that's the next big milestone that we expect coming soon.
Excellent. Let's talk about just the quality of work that you've done up until now, de-risking the project and the community relations and the way that you've approached that, because it's, and this is pun intended, obviously, it's so critical to be able to do the work early and to make sure that the quality of that work shows up early in order to be able to get to the point that you're at now, right?
Yes, but that's a process that it's probably one of the most important things to get involved and working with the local community. And that's something that we start right from the beginning in 2010 when we made the discovery, building the communication channel and make sure that the community are aware of our progress on the project. We signed a pre-development agreement with the community of East Main, the CRE government, and the Grand Council. In 2012, then we keep going with the project, building communication, presenting in the different communities surrounding the project. Then in 2019, we signed the impact and benefit agreement with, again, the Grand Council of CRE, the CRE government, and the CRE Nation of East Main. So that's a big portion of the project, and we're pretty pleased to have their support and working with them as they will also bring a lot of support and lots of, let's say, worker contract for the project. So their expertise is very important for us.
And obviously a win-win just economically, right? You've done it the right way. You did it from inception, and now the community as well as the company both are in position to benefit economically moving forward, assuming that everything goes as we assume it will, and then that final shoe drops here soon, right?
Yes, but for sure there will be a lot of like economic repercussion for the different community. As you know, it's a big project. Will create more than 250 jobs. There will be large contract. Just by example, the concentrate transportation. The CRE community and the CRE are real entrepreneurs. They own several business like airline companies, transportation, oil companies. So they will be able to provide a lot of material and a lot of expertise and worker for the project, and that's very important for us as we build the relations since the beginning. And we also been able to learn over the time with them, with all the, let's say, the relation we built, the importance of their culture, and that's very important for us.
The decision statement, Eric, was issued on August the 11th, but prior to that, obviously you had been extremely busy, and the last two releases prior to that decision were really interesting to me. The one on July the 12th was Critical Elements retaining an ex-Rockwood lithium expert for the hydroxide engineering market study. The one prior to that on June 18th was Critical Elements engaging Goldspot Discoveries to apply its AI exploration technologies at the project. Can you explain a bit of the motivation behind each of those releases?
Sure. And I think what it highlights, first of all, is the importance of people. If you look at the great job that Jean-Sébastien did in moving this permitting process through, working jointly with the people in government as well as those in Cree Nation government, that is a process that has to be done extremely carefully. And I can give Jean-Sébastien and his team great credit for having achieved that. So then coming back to your question about the July 12th news release, looking at hiring of a lithium hydroxide expert, Garrett Fueling is actually an expert in pricing and the market for all of these lithium products. And he is a product himself of the great Rockwood Lithium enterprise that was run by their chief executive officer and president, Dr. Stefan Haber, who is now our president as well. And so, having this quality of people involved, like Stefan, he has the ability to tap into the network that he built in building Rockwood Lithium, and Garrett is an example of that. So he brings a huge amount of expertise. Obviously, that's going to help us in not just the lithium hydroxide engineering market study, but also going forward and understanding the intricacies of the market. And as you can imagine, in today's world where we see OEMs ramping up their plans for electrification, for decarbonization of transport, in that environment, you've got such great demand building. And in fact, some of the brokerage firms on Bay Street and Wall Street are looking at 50% deficits in lithium supply going forward. Having Garrett on the team to talk about that market and advise us is an extremely important aspect of it. And then you asked about gold spot discoveries. I think we're all human beings. We have limits as to how many factors that we can look at any one time. So it's been fascinating to watch as artificial intelligence or machine learning is brought into the equation of exploration. Obviously, we already have the Rose deposit, and a number of discoveries have been made very proximal to Rose. But to take all that information over 700 square kilometers and boil that down to generate smart targets for further exploration, I think this was a great initiative on the part of Jean-Sébastien, and it's very exciting to see what the market might not place any value on at this point in time, but to see drill holes go into the ground and test some of these smart targets is quite an exciting endeavor.
It sounds like the company clearly believes in the exploration upside that exists at the project. I know that initially when co-owner of Resource Stock Digest, Nick Hodge, looked at this company late last August, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was trading around the 29-cent level. And a part of what attracted him was he couldn't believe the caliber of talent involved with the company at the time. And clearly he was right? I mean, you've worked diligently, you've engaged the community, you've gotten it at the point where we all expect that final permitting decision to be favorable and be announced soon. And it seems like there's still a lot of runway to explore and develop the project.
Absolutely. I mean, it's clear in our mission statement. Our vision for the company is to be a large supplier, a sustainable and responsible supplier of lithium to the market. And by large, Rose is just simply the first. And we intend to explore the potential. We intend to prove the concept that indeed that there's a lot of potential within that ground. I'm sure you've got something to add to that, Jean-Sébastien?
Yes, but if you look at the amount of exploration we've done on the rest of the properties since the discovery of Rose being limited, and we already find some new zone, new showing. We sampled them, did some fuels, and it looks very promising for future. So for sure, at the next step, as Rose moving forward, we will increase exploration and do more drilling in order to develop a second one.
Excellent. Eric, Jean-Sébastien, congratulations. Anything else to add?
I think it's important to, before we leave, to mention, like you said, There's the second authorization that we are working on with the provincial process, but also in parallel to that, we're also working on the engineering study for the conversion plan that we expect to conclude over the coming next couple of months for the conversion from spodumene concentrate into lithium hydroxide. So there's a lot of milestone and news coming over the next couple of weeks and months.
A lot to look forward to. Eric, anything to add to that?
Oh, I think Jean-Sébastien laid it out perfectly well.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Congrats again. And I suspect we'll be having a similar conversation again here soon.
Great. Thanks to Gerardo.
Thank you.